Hello, it's the Friday Talkie. As tends to happen, last week I did a bloody huge great big Friday Talkie, like 50 minutes. I'm amazed at how many people actually watched it. Thank you to all of those of you who did, because that is too long. But anyway, this one will be shorter. I do actually have a couple of things to talk about. Last minute, kind of like, I've been spending all week thinking, what the hell am I going to talk about? And it's funny because sometimes actually it's really bloody obvious, like the topic of conversation is right there in front of my nose, and I'm oblivious that actually I could and probably should talk about that. I've got two things to talk about. One is it's a response to a question asked by 888-385 this week. Are YouTube meetups going to become bigger, a more popular thing? You know, are they going to happen more often? Are they going to be the in thing? Something like that. Because I mean, there was a replay just last weekend, as you'll know, and there are a mass of videos of that. I know quite a lot of you have watched my video. There are a lot of other videos. I have linked to every replay video that I've come across on YouTube, and there are a lot, and they're all linked from my replay video. That's not some kind of con to get you to all just go to my video, and then it just seemed like the logical place to link to them from. Now go and watch my video. No, yeah, loads. There were, as I said in my video, there were lots of YouTubers there, and it was a fantastic meetup. So 888-385 asked the question, is this going to become a more common thing? And I don't, it's kind of silly actually answering the question when I don't know the answer. But it's an interesting one to kind of puzzle over. My feeling is that no, I don't think we will come to a situation where we get all of the, I won't say big names, because who's a big name on YouTube? But you know, there are a lot of channels that are known by a lot of people. It's like within the community, people know. There are channels that are known by most of the people. I don't think it will happen that we get a meetup where all of those people are together in the same place at the same time. There, I think, will be more meetups where there will be lots of people, but it won't necessarily be everyone knows everyone. And this was the case, in fact, at Replay. I know there were people there who are YouTubers, who've got channels, who I didn't know. I've only discovered them because of the videos I found of Replay. That will happen. Will everyone meet up? I don't know about that. I mean, the big thing in terms of trying to get together a bunch of people who already know each other is distance. I mean, Mark Verheer got to Replay all the way from Holland, I shall say the Netherlands. I'm confused with what is Holland and what is the Netherlands, and is there I don't know. The Netherlands, which is a damn long way to go to an exhibition, and I'm very glad that he did, him and his wife, because they really nice people, and it was great to meet them. But you know, not everyone can travel. I mean, for me, I don't drive. If it wasn't for Dave, I wouldn't have been able to go. And there are lots of people in that kind of situation. So I think getting everyone there. And I mean, even though compared to some places, Britain isn't a big country. It's quite tiny. This is a completely different subject, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Say let's say America, because it's big and because I've got quite a few viewers there. It's a damn big country, and there, a couple of 100 miles is nothing, you know. Here, a couple of 100 miles is a big deal, because everything is so much more cramped together, and even on the motorways it's stressful. Travelling any kind of distance takes longer, because if you're not on the motorway in particular, getting through towns, it's all cramped, it's all crushed together, it's stressful, it's kind of horrible, really. Travelling here is different from in other bigger countries, and I mean, Zombie Andy travelled up to Blackpool from Bournemouth, which is like, Bournemouth's way down there, down south. I mean, God, I don't know how long that took you, Andy, but that must have been one hell of a long journey. Yeah, so I think that will always be a hindrance anywhere, really, because I mean, like America, yeah, travelling is easier, I think. I've never been there, so I don't know. I'm making big assumptions here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't shout at me. Yeah, YouTubers there. There are lots of people who know each other, but they could be like a couple of thousand miles apart, and if they're not loaded, and let's be honest, most of us aren't, travelling that kind of distance to meet up just isn't going to happen. But yes, I think smaller meetups will happen, like at GameLink in Spalding earlier in the summer. There were, what, how many of us were there? There was a good crowd of YouTubers there. And those kind of things will happen, but you won't get everyone there. You won't get the massed, I don't think you will get the massed meeting with all of the everyone who knows everyone kind of situation. I don't see that. I could be entirely wrong, but that's the way I see it. Yeah, so your thoughts on that, and responses, video responses to 888-385. Moving on. Okay, this, I always do a video, yes, I do video responses when I can't think of something to talk about, and it's like, hold on, who out there has already come up with a good topic? I'll respond to that. So, but this week I come up with one of my own. Sometimes it's easy and I've got masses, and sometimes it's a struggle, and this was a last minute one, but this is the one. It's been right in front of my face and I haven't cottoned on to it being something I should talk about, and there are actually a couple of things I want to talk about this. Minecraft. Oh my God. Yeah, I've been asked a few times in the past, do I play Minecraft, and my response was I tried the freebie in the browser, old version, and it was interesting, but I really didn't have the time for that. And there's the key phrase, I didn't have the time for it. That phrase matters and is important, the reason for which will come up later. So, whilst at Replay, Mark, UK Retro Games, asked me, did I want or would I like a code? It's a gift code. I'm assuming you can buy these, so I know this cost Mark money. Thank you, Mark. That wasn't lost on me. So again, really appreciate it. Yes, Mark gave me a code to download and play Minecraft. And the first thing that I want to say, which I found really weird, this is how immersive it is. Initially I started playing Minecraft in single player, I was in survival mode, just to get to grips with how the game worked, and the real very, very basic stuff. How to move around, how to put one block on top of another, that kind of thing, how to make an axe and a sword and a pickaxe and all that. Did that in single player, and I spent a couple of days just so I could do the bare bones. And then I went and joined Zombie Andy's server, because that's where pretty much everyone who I met at Replay goes on Andy's server. There was like a group of miners there. So I went onto Andy's server a couple of days ago, and all of the people who I'd met at Replay were there. And this was weird, because I suffer, in the real world, I do suffer an amount of social anxiety. There are certain situations that I find myself uncomfortable with. Replay wasn't one of them, because I know all of these people from YouTube, and I just instantly felt comfortable. And you would think, well, okay, real world, if you can handle that, Minecraft's going to be piss easy because it's a game. No, I actually felt social anxiety. There I was, and then all of these people who I know and have met appear, and gave me the warmest welcome you can imagine. and I felt anxious. That'd be I hope they're not horrified. Absolutely nothing any of you lot did. I was overwhelmed by the situation. It's like, okay, I know these people, that's cool, they look a bit weird and blocky and wearing Star Trek outfits, and this, something Custard, Mr. Custard, something wearing a really nice mankini. Yeah, I've not met him in real life, I hope he doesn't dress like that. Yeah, I found it really quite overwhelming, and it is the immersive nature of it, that's the thing. So, I've been pondering that ever since, because I didn't expect to feel anxious or overwhelmed. And I think it's just it is the immersiveness. It's meeting people you know when they look weird, and you're in a place that is completely bizarre, and the rules that you come to be accustomed to of how the world you live in works don't apply. And that's a real head fuck. And it's not like playing a video game. I mean, yes, it's a game, but it wasn't like it because there was that interaction with people, real people, not just computer-controlled stuff where you can just ignore them and it doesn't matter. It was like, figure out how these things work. How do I get into this little mining cart and make it go and not fall out and not break anything while still talking to these people? Yeah, overwhelming, fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and just completely, my head was all over the place. So I must again say thank you to all of you who gave me such a warm welcome. Now, this brings me to my other topic, Minecraft related. And this is probably something that a lot of people who play it will already be aware of. And I'm going to do a couple of Minecraft videos at some point, because I'm playing it two completely separate ways. I'm doing the single player survival mode where I'm building stuff and digging. I built myself a little castle on top of an already existing cave system, and I'm exploring that and not really caring too much about the structures that I'm building and what they look like. And trying to stay alive and not get eaten or killed by zombies and giant spiders and weird crap. I've already been had a little hut I found myself blown up by some weird green thing that I'm informed is a creeper. I don't know, I just know it came walking towards me. I stood looking at it thinking, that's cool, and then it exploded. Yeah. So I'm doing a bit of survival stuff on single player, and then I'm playing on Andy's server. And I'm doing this completely different. It's in creativity mode, something like that. You don't die. And in that I am being entirely creative and a little bit odd, because I'm doing everything underground. In that world there is so much really cool stuff up above ground that everyone else has built. And it's fantastic, and what they're building is amazing, and I'm like, how the hell are they doing that? And my skills are completely rudimentary, while they, and Andy in particular, mastered some fantastic techniques and made, I mean, yeah, opening doors that open themselves, and the whole minecart, railway system, and all sorts of clever stuff. I've got no idea how it works. But I'm getting into I'm playing with architecture and light. And puzzles, but not technical puzzles, just hidden stuff. It's like you go down there's a little sign, there's a hill and a little sign outside that says Benway is digging a hole, and you find there's like a doorway and a set of stairs that go down, and then it opens into a little chamber, and at the back of that chamber there's a doorway, and you find yourself in a set of corridors. And that set of corridors are not actually, they initially appear really, really complicated, but they're not, as soon as you realise what I've done. I know Mark Verheer has worked out what I did. He grasped that very quickly, I think. Anyway, that leads to somewhere else, and it's a big, big, big chamber. You have to find the route to it. I'm not sure how many... I know a couple of people have seen it because they teleported to me. And that's kind of a shame, because they miss the whole experience of finding it. It's like, whoosh, they're there, and they see it. It looks cool. But they miss the whole finding it, because you get the the contrast of being in a confined set of corridors where you think, oh my god, I'm lost, I'm never going to get out of here again. And then all of a sudden you're in this big, dark, cavernous place. It's kind of like an Olympic swimming pool with the lights off and a candle in each corner. Yeah, so there's that, and there's some other stuff. I don't know how many people are going to go in there and have a look at it. You know, I mean, there aren't masses of people on the server, and don't ask me. It's not my server. I can't give you access to it. It's Andy's. But I will do video eventually when I'm finished making what I'm making. Like, where did I get to? Yes, there is more. And I don't know who's seen it or who's found it. I'm kind of hoping no one finds it yet, because it's not finished and it would spoil the surprise of what I'm doing. Anyway, that isn't even the point of what I wanted to talk about. The point I wanted to make was, I'm finding this game, or really in creativity mode, it's not a game. Survival mode sort of is. It's like sandbox with the challenge of trying to stay alive and not get killed by monsters whilst building stuff and exploring. Creativity mode is much more about creativity and making stuff than it is a game in itself. And you've got the social aspect, because there are people there to talk to. And this is my question. Have you ever played a game that was in danger of taking over your life? Because Minecraft, if I was not very careful, could do that. We have seen situations on YouTube where retro gaming and the collecting of retro gaming related stuff can destroy a person's life. We've seen this. Don't need to go into the details. Most of you will know what I'm talking about, and we don't want to dig that over anyway. But what about a game? Way back, I had a friend on the internet, this was before YouTube, who had a husband who got so heavily into a MMORPG thing. It wasn't World of Warcraft, it was some other thing. So utterly into it that he basically gave up on his whole life and spent his whole life in the game. She left him. I don't know what happened to him. But yes, Minecraft has the potential to do that. It's the kind of thing where if I wasn't aware that it could do that and wasn't taking active measures to not let it do that, it could do that. To me, it is so utterly immersive, so utterly compelling. And yes, to stop this game from taking over and wrecking my life, I set myself a 3.5 hour time limit, and I only play for an extended period of time. Either if Andrea is at work, if I've finished the work that I've set myself to do in a given day, working on my website or looking for work, jobs and whatnot. If I've finished what I'd set myself to do, then I'll play a little bit before Andrea gets home, and I'll maybe have like an hour or something, perhaps half an hour, probably not. It depends what time she's getting home at. And then I'll play maybe 3 hours, 3.5. Well, I set myself a maximum time limit of 3.5 hours at night after Andrea's gone to bed, because I am a night owl. I don't go to bed until the early hours. I've tried really hard to get into a normal daytime routine where I get up in the morning and go to bed at night, and it just doesn't work. I can't do it. It's really, I don't know. Anyway, so yes, I limit myself 3.5 hours, because to spend more, it would just be that just 5 more minutes, just 5, until you've been on there for like 8 hours, and yeah, it could wreck your life, especially if you're married or living with someone. If you're a single person with no responsibilities, I can see how it would be easy to spend your entire life in it. But it'd be fun, but I think it would also be kind of unhealthy. There was a time I could have done that, and in fact probably would have done that But those days are long gone. I have a life and I want to keep it. So I'm being very careful not to let this game wreck it. But yes, there is my question. Is there, or has there ever been, a game that has had the potential to draw you into it so much that you couldn't get away, you couldn't stop, and it was wrecking your life? I mean, I don't know what that says about the game. Does that mean it is a fantastic, really, really, really good game? Or is it actually really dangerous and really bad because it could wreck lives? I suppose that's not really the fault of the game, it's the fault of the person playing it, if it's going to draw them in. But some people have the kind of personality where they just can't help themselves. We see it with other things, drugs, alcohol, stuff, you know, smoking. God, it took me a long while to get out of that, and that was making me really unhealthy. It's that kind of thing. Yes, you do have to take responsibility for your own life. Some people just can't quite manage to do that, and in that case, is a game like this dangerous? That's another question, really, isn't it? I hadn't even thought about that until right now. See, that's what you get on a Friday Talkie. My brain kind of functioning. Okay, that's all I've got to talk about. I don't have a shout out. I've been neglecting YouTube this week because I've been playing Minecraft. All those times I would be looking through everyone else's video. I spent the first half of the week looking for replay videos and the second half playing Minecraft. Yeah, I'll get the balance back. So no shout out. What have I got coming up? Well, yeah, stuff that I said I would have coming up last week. I haven't yet done the Atari 8-bit review. I've got more Amstrad videos coming up. I'm really enjoying playing them. As you'll notice, I've got the flicker down to a minimum, but I sound bloody awful. I have talked about that already. I can't help the audio on there. I'm not going to do all the messing around recording a separate audio track. It's just too much trouble. There will be some Commodore 64 games. There will be... Yes, I'm going to do a Minecraft video. No, not necessarily this week. I don't know. I might show you a little bit of what I'm doing on the single player. I'm not going to show you the stuff that's on the server yet, the multiplayer thing, until I've finished doing what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is a surprise to the people, for the people who are on the server, if they find it. Don't cheat and teleport to where I am. Yeah, okay. I think that's everything. Thank you for watching.